has soared to 10% in a new Red Wall poll, a figure that will likely skyrocket if Sunak undermines democracy by failing to stare down Brussels over Northern Ireland. And today, it's also been revealed that Reform UK leader Richard Tice is threatening to sue the Conservative Party for libel over malicious falsehoods, or what he calls malicious falsehoods, about an alleged £400,000 bribe to a Tory MP to defect to his party, an allegation Richard Tice says is categorically untrue. And he joins me now live in the studio. So, Richard, lots to cover off because, of course, Brexit is back in the news. But can we talk about these headlines today that you're planning to sue the Conservative Party? So can you just categorically deny on the record that there was any financial offer for Tory MPs?
This is absolute nonsense. I did not make any form of payment offer or inducement to Tory MPs. It's more than one MP, by the way, that we've been talking to, including actual ministers past and present. And look, but what they've done is to deliberately try to smear me. I believe it's libelous, using the word that it's a bribe. And that's a very serious allegation of illegality, and which is defamatory, and I'm not going to tolerate it. I'm prepared to accept the cut and the thrust of brutal politics. That's one thing. But accuse me of illegality, you're going to hear from my lawyers, and that's what they've done.
Indeed, it was a very strong report. Can I just clarify one thing about it? Because what the suggestion seemed to be is that maybe it wasn't that you were actually offering a cash bribe. You know, it's not like, here's £10,000 in a Fortnum & Mason bag. It was more like, oh, we can guarantee that you'll keep your MP's salary even if you lose at the next election.
And that's not what the discussion was about. The main discussion, actually, interestingly, was why they couldn't come to us was because of their fear of the bullying that they would receive from former colleagues in the House of Commons. That was the real discussion. And actually, given the smoke signals we hear about bullying elsewhere, I think that's the real thing that should be focused on.
But you say you've been speaking to former ministers.
Correct. And very senior people in the party.
Is there a chance that some might still defect to Reform?
That's obviously a matter for them. But I think we're heading towards an election. Who knows what will happen? Let's wait and see. But you just touched on the issue of the polls.
Well, so you're right up in the polls, and now it looks like Sunak might be about to betray, not just, by the way, the folk of Northern Ireland, but Brexit, because this is about sovereignty, right?
Well, look, the truth is that Brexit was never really done because the Tories, and we said it at the time of the Brexit Party, they promised the whole of the UK would leave the European Union, but the sad truth is that Northern Ireland was basically left still within the jurisdiction of the EU in terms of single market rules and the ECJ. Yes. Completely unacceptable.
Which Boris did to get the Brexit deal through. But what my issue is that as soon as Boris was deposed, and I know that you wanted that to happen, I was totally against that because I knew that the moment Boris was deposed in an anti-democratic coup, all of these Ramona forces, globalist forces, would come in and try to undermine Brexit. And look at what's happening now.
And that's happening, and that's why, in a sense, that's why we're rising in the polls, because we're now the only party that is standing up for Brexit. Look, if you're going to do any job, for heaven's sake, do it properly, or don't bother doing it at all. We voted for Brexit, and that means taking control of our laws, money and borders. They haven't done any of that. The borders are completely out of control, as the Home Secretary admitted. They haven't cut taxes in order to create growth. They haven't started to cut any regulations. Civil servants are now taking control of the process and delaying it for years and years and years. And now you've got Sunak sort of bottling it on the protocol.
Do you think Sunak really believes in Brexit? Because he gets away with a lot, doesn't he, because he voted for Brexit. He wasn't a high-profile politician.
No one remembers him being out there.
He wrote one video about it.
Yeah, he wrote a paper afterwards about it. Look, I think he's a bit like Keir Starmer, sort of a fence-sitter on everything. But he's got no conviction, no courage, and he's not actually delivering on anything.
What are you hearing about the deal?
What I've heard about, the deal has been dead for a number of days. There is no deal. And if Sunak tries to override the DUP and the ERG, then frankly, I think he's toast. I don't think he'll be Prime Minister going into the next general election. It's as simple as that.
So he's misreading the strength of
completely misreading it.
Because it feels like he's almost said to hell with the ERG. You know, that they're a busted flush.
The reality is that the Northern Ireland Protocol Bill, which is sort of stuck in the House of Lords, I think, that he's absurdly said that he would get rid of that if he can cover it. You don't do that. You always keep the negotiating leverage, whatever leverage that is. The reality is the protocol has always been a disaster. You should get rid of it, and they should adopt the recommendation of the EU's own expert on this issue in 2017, Lars Carlson, Smart Borders 2. That's the solution. Disgracefully, the Taoiseach, Leo Varadkar, he weaponised this issue in order to basically trap the UK in the sort of the ambit of the EU.
I know. And who would have thought that in 2023 there would still be forces in this country trying to...
Well, I guess we shouldn't be surprised, but the reality is we need courageous conviction politicians who get stuff done.